Shalom and welcome to another installment of Elders of GMS. This is Elders of GMS on location, and we're at the Cloisters Museum and Castle, which is right behind us. We just found this area right here to do the filming. Hopefully nobody, bothers us or anything like that, but, it's all through the spirit. But anyway, the name of this the topic of this show is entitled Syria One Step Closer to World War III. And I'm going to pass it to the elders.
All right. Anybody got it? All right. So basically, like Elder Tar just said, Syria one step closer to World War III, because that's pretty much what we want. Well, that's what the Lord wants, but we want also because when the Lord's prophecies are fulfilled, then the end will come. So right now there's a situation going on out there in Syria, where the American military, through the international bankers, they set up this fake false flag where they use chemical weapons on the citizens of Syria, and basically they blamed it on the Syrian government, that the Syrian government did it. But now the reason why they did that is because that will justify them, the American troops and other troops, to go up into that land of Syria and take over, because there's certain things that's going on in Syria that these devils want to get their hands on, outside of resources and all that. There's different, it's a strategic spot. There's pipelines and different other things that are being planned for that land, in the coming months, or we're in the midst of it right now, where they want to get a stronghold into the land of Syria, so they can, take over that, so that the American dollar doesn't lose its grip. Because basically right now, they call it the petrodollar, which is the money to pay for the dollar that's used to pay for gasoline and oil and all that. And once they lose that stronghold, that's it for the dollar. The dollar's going the way of the Weimar Republic.
Yeah, because the Federal Reserve note is supposed to be the world reserve currency, but really it's the petrodollar. That dollar is made strong through oil around the world. So there's a pipeline that the U.S. and I guess Great Britain wanted to control, which Syria, Assad didn't want to go with that deal. So basically they turned them into an enemy. This is going back like 2 years ago, and they basically got a bunch of Al-Qaeda terrorists, which are not, set up by the CIA, to go up in there and try to take them out of office, take them out of power, set up a new order. And it hasn't worked in 2 years, so now the U.S. is looking to get in there and send in the troops, because that's what they're ultimately going to do. And they're doing it over oil, over gas, over this pipeline, over control of that region. And, you have Monday night, by the way, today's date is September 7th, 2013, September 9th, I believe, Barack Obama, the puppet president, he's going before Congress to try to get the Congress to chime in and go with this plan to go into Syria and bring a strike against it. But it's going to wind up being that they're going to have boots on the ground. And the reason why this is happening, because this is all Bible prophecy anyway. The Most High is just luring them in. And the so-called Jews over there in Israel, they're a part of that too. Give me that in Jeremiah 49. I believe that's around the 21st, 22nd verse, around there, 23rd verse. It says the least of them, the least of the flock. Go ahead.
This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them.
Yeah, the least of the flock of Edom represent them so-called Jews, which the Rothschilds are so-called claim to be Jews, but they're actually Edomites. And from certain documents that I have read and other elders have read, that they even know that they're the Edomites. That's why when you put in the word Esau, you misspell the word Esau, it'll come up and it won't spell it correctly to mean Esau. And it's really hard to find any information on Esau. They give you limited information. If you go to Google, if you go to Wikipedia, you know, if you go to any encyclopedia, especially dealing on the web, and you put in the word Esau, Edom, they'll give you the story of Edom and they'll give you the story of Esau, but they won't tell you who they are today. And you have certain scholars, false scholars, that say that Edom was done away with so many hundreds of years ago or 2,000 years ago. But they don't tell you when were they done away with, how they were done away with, who did away with them. They don't give you that. They don't give you that history. But we found out through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and the teachers over us who the Edomites are. The Edomites are you so-called white people. You are the Edomites. And you're just fulfilling prophecy. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And that whole situation with the oil over there in that region in the Middle East is nothing but a plan that the Most High set you up to do. And then even there's a plan, and you got the document on the Mazzini Pike plan, and I'm gonna have the elder read that, and it tells you there's three. It says here, the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati. Well, I'm gonna let you read that. But anyway, the First World War, we know the history on that. That was mainly in Europe, right? The Second World War was also started through Germany, Hitler, during his regime. And then the Third World War, it tells you that this Third World War is going to take place by the skirmishes over there in the Middle East with the so-called Jews and America. But that's going to be their, that's going to turn out to be their destruction, because they're setting up this Third World War to set up a new world order. But it's going to backfire on them. Give me that in Job 20, around about the 20th verse. And I'm going to have the elder read that. He's going to read all three wars, which is known as the Albert Pike, the Pike Mazzini blueprint for the three world wars. They know that's not going to, they don't mention anything about a fourth world war, because there's not going to be a fourth world war. Okay? It says Albert Pike's 1871 plan for the three world wars. Okay? Go ahead, Art.
This is Job chapter 20, verse 20. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits.
Yeah, the fullness of the illuminated one's sufficiency, they're gonna run into problems. Just like this situation, and we also have documents on that. We also have documents that all these different states, these different countries rather, their prime ministers, their presidents, they're dead set against Barack Obama going to war or sending troops or attacking Syria. As a matter of fact, they had a gathering of the G20, all right? And what was that? Somewhere in Europe. My memory escapes me. But anyway, St. Petersburg, Russia. It was in Russia. Thank you. And they had showed the G20 nations representatives, which were the prime ministers, their presidents, all together, and they had showed a video of Barack Obama walking by himself. And that's symbolic of the fact that they're not with that thing.
Right. They're not backing him.
They're not backing him. They're not backing him. And that's in these documents that we're going to read. Okay, that we're going to go through. But I want you to read this real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, This is Albert Pike's 1871 plan for the 3 world wars. The First World War, well, let me start at the top here. In 1871, Albert Pike envisioned 3 world wars to be followed by an unparalleled economic disaster. Pike's plans have come to fruition, shockingly on target. Who is Pike? And perhaps more importantly, who backed Pike? Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini dated August 15, 1871. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the Tsars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism.
Well, can I say something on that too? That was also set up. Eustace Mullins brought that out. The Rothschilds was behind that, the downtake of the Tsar, because Tsar Nicholas, they wanted the riches, man. Tsar Nicholas, was it Tsar Nicholas the Third?
I think it was
The second. Tsar Nicholas, that's right, his son would have been the third, which he was which the Tsar had children, which they murdered the Tsar and his children by way of the Bolshevik Party, which the Bolshevik Party was communism. That's when they established that communism. That proves communism is set up by the Illuminati and democracy is all set up by the Illuminati. But the Rothschilds, starting with the Rothschilds, they had a plan. They said, look, man, we want to take down, they wanted to take down the final aristocracies of the world, those royal families, which Tsar Nicholas II, which Elder Tahar brought this out, their line went back, the Tsars, he had to be a Jake, he had to be an Israelite, because their line went back to the old ancient Russian aristocracies, man, or the royal ruling families. They had to take out of power the last remaining line of Israel that was ruling in the earth and get the riches. That was why their plan was to kill the Tsar, take his gold, and set up the Bolshevik Party, which brought forth, which was the father of communism. So that was all a part of that. And then also, too, they wanted that money. They wanted the Tsar's gold and the riches to stockpile everything to themselves, man. So that all took place right around that time, the turn of the century, early 1900s, which is when World War I came into being. So that was all a part of that grand plan of the Rothschilds, man.
Yep. Of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergencies caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments in order to weaken the religions.
Right. We say this too, and the main thing that was used for too was basically to destroy the validity of the Bible. They've been trying to do that. That's why they set up communism, which they call it atheistic communism, which is atheist means not God. You know, so basically when they set that up, it was basically to destroy not just religion, because religion is man-made, but really to try to destroy the validity of the Bible. You know, by making the people get so frustrated with religion and with the Bible that they'll turn to something else.
That's right, and that same thing, that same plan, which I don't want to jump ahead because it goes into World War II. That same plan went down. They used that same blueprint in World War II with Hitler, with the burning of the books. When Hitler set up the Nazi Party, Hitler deemed that which that was a trial run for World War III or setting up that New World Order. Hitler deemed that the state pretty much was God. So Hitler, he outlawed religions and he burnt the books, starting with the Bible. That was one of the books that Hitler was burning, man.
It says the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists.
Yeah, the so-called Nazis, they're considered fascists. They were considered the fascists.
This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel and Palestine.
Yeah, that was all set up to get them so-called Jews into owning the land of Israel. Pretty much to validate themselves as being the real Israelites and the real Jews. That's what World War II was all about, man. Which the Rothschilds, who are so-called Jews, really Amalekites from the nation of Esau, Edomites, man. That's what that was all about. It was all a grand plan for these devils, the so-called Jew, the Amalekites or the Amalekites, to set themselves up on the earth or validate themselves as being the Lord's chosen people.
During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm.
That new world order.
Yep. The last one is the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of Islamic world.
That's right, the Middle East. So they was planning from back then. Back in 1871, Albert Pike already had the plan that, okay, the Third World War, by the time we get around to that, we're going to go over there in the middle. Because they already knew that the resources were over there, but they didn't have the technology and things to go over there and mess with them at that time. But they knew at some point that they would. They said, them Arabs over there in the Middle East, that's where we're going to base this so-called blueprint for our Third World War. We're going to go over there messing with them Arabs and go after the oil and go after their so-called way of life, their religion. And that's going to be, which really they don't give a damn about nothing, but that is a blueprint or a catalyst for them to set up this Third World War, so in turn they can set up this new world order, man.
Right, which was in line with the prophecies. Right, it was prophesied that was going to happen. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 12. It says, one woe is past.
That was the First World War, prophesied in the scripture. So these devils really, Albert Pike, Esau, everything Esau do, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah puts it in their mind to do. Albert Pike didn't come up with that. The Lord put the Most High, gave him that knowledge to do that, man. It was the Most High. So that's why the scripture says, Esau, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, but the Most High got you in a trick bag. You Edomites, man. He gave you the knowledge for your own destruction, man.
It's probably got a
It's Job 33:15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction.
That's right. It was the Most High that gave Albert Pike the idea, the instruction to set up this blueprint for these 3 world wars. So what the Most High did was give Esau the instruction for his own destruction. Okay.
It says that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man.
That's right, man. So the Lord is the one. It wasn't Esau that came up with this. So you Illuminati members that's watching this, you elites, which you're not the elites. You're not even the real, man. We're the elites, man. We're the real elites. You ain't the elites. I ain't gonna call you that no more. You devils, man. Because you're looking at the elites, the elect of Israel, man. With Lord willing, we be of the elect. But like, you got to be like Paul. I am confident in the hope that I might be saved. So I don't know. We don't know if we definitely of the elect, but you got to have the attitude that you are, man.
Our nation is the elite. Our nation is the elite.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Like Elder Don just said, not like the 14th Street homo. He probably ain't come out today. It's a little nippy, man. And it's going to get cold when the sun go down. Last night was kind of cold. Yeah. So it's going to get cold tonight. You have to put a jacket on, so he ain't coming out there today, man. No.
Yeah, man. Reading on, it says, by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agentur of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world, the war must be conducted in such a way that...
Well, they're about to go into Syria. They went into Afghanistan. They went into Iraq. They was threatening to go into Iran, but they never did. But eventually they are going to go in there. Once they go into Syria, that's going to open the door. They're going to go into Iran too. Salakia, brother. They're going to go into Iran.
The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and